Your bathroom isn't dirty because you're lazy. It's because you were taught to treat it as one room instead of two. That's not an insult, that's a diagnosis. Somewhere right now, a family in Japan is stepping into the exact same kind of bathroom you have, and somehow leaving it cleaner every single day without trying harder. Stay with me until number 9. It reframes almost everything else on this list. And number 2 directly contradicts what most Western plumbing has quietly trained you to accept as normal. Let's begin. Before the list, one idea to hold on to: Kegare. It's a Japanese concept with roots in Shinto thought, and the closest translation is impurity. Not moral impurity, just accumulated ordinary uncleanliness that builds up through daily living and needs to be regularly cleared, not ignored. Where an American bathroom draws the line at "does it look clean?", Japan draws a much more precise map, one that separates washing from soaking, wet zones from dry zones, and personal items from shared ones, because Kegare isn't just about visible dirt. It's about what quietly spreads when those lines blur. Keep that idea in mind. Every item on this list comes back to it, not whether your bathroom looks fine at a glance, but whether it's actually built to keep what's unclean from touching what's supposed to stay clean. Let's start with the biggest one, the one most Americans don't even register as a choice, because it's the only version they've ever known. Number 1. Bathing and using the toilet in the same room. Picture your bathroom right now. The toilet is a few feet from the tub, sometimes close enough to touch both without moving your feet. You've never questioned it, because every bathroom you've ever used was built this way. Most people assume this is just standard plumbing. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not about plumbing convenience. It's about mixing the room where you get clean with the room where waste happens. There's a phrase for this separation. Afuro refers specifically to the soaking bath, a space meant purely for washing and relaxing, never sharing air or surface with the toilet. This directly reflects Kegare, keeping the impure and the purifying physically apart, not just visually tidy. Pause here. The quiet cost isn't visible grime. It's that every time you brush your teeth a few feet from the toilet, your body is registering a low-grade wrongness that never quite goes away, even if you've stopped noticing it consciously. The shift, this is just how bathrooms are laid out, becomes washing and eliminating we're never supposed to share a room. That is item number 1. This one directly contradicts what most plumbing conventions have trained you to accept. Number 2. Stepping into a bathtub to actually get clean. In most Western homes, the bath is where washing happens. You sit in the water, scrub, and the same water that's cleaning you is also collecting everything that comes off you. The common assumption is that a bath is for cleaning your body. Here's how Japan sees it. This is not about the bath cleaning you. It's about the bath being for soaking only after you're already clean. In a traditional Japanese bathing routine, you shower and fully rinse before entering the tub. The bathwater itself is then kept clean enough that the whole family can share it afterward, precisely because nobody enters it dirty. This is Kegare in its most literal, practical form, separating the act of cleansing from the act of relaxing. Slow down here, let this land. The cost of skipping this separation is that your clean bath was never actually clean. You were sitting in a diluted version of everything you meant to wash off. The shift, the bath cleans me, becomes I get clean first, so the bath can actually be restful. That is item number 2. Here's a smaller one, but it carries more weight than people expect. Number 3. The bath mat that's been on the floor for months. It's damp more often than it's dry. It's absorbed sweat, splashed water, and whatever was on the bottom of your feet day after day without ever seeing a washing machine. Most people think a bath mat just needs replacing when it looks worn. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not about appearance. It's about a fabric sitting permanently damp being one of the fastest growing sources of household Kegare. Impurity, you're stepping directly onto barefoot every single day. This connects to the broader idea of seiketsu, cleanliness as an active, maintained state, not a one-time achievement. A mat that's clean once but never washed again isn't clean. It's just old dirt with a head start. Stop, let that land. The quiet toll is that you're recontaminating freshly washed feet the moment you step out of the shower, every single day, without realizing it. The shift, "I'll replace the mat when it looks bad," becomes, "the mat gets washed on a schedule, not a look." That is item number 3. This is the one that makes almost everyone quietly wince. Number 4, your toothbrush sitting in a cup a few feet from an open toilet. Every flush sends a fine mist into the air around it, invisible but real. Your toothbrush sits there, uncovered, waiting for the next time you put it in your mouth. The surface read is that this is just how bathroom storage works. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not about storage convenience. It's about the same Kegare logic from item 1, a proximity, to impurity contaminating, something meant to go directly into your body. There's no need for a fancy term here, just the same underlying principle carried forward. Distance and separation matter more than most people assume, especially for objects that touch the inside of your mouth. Pause here. The cost is genuinely physical, not just symbolic. You're routinely introducing airborne particles onto a tool you use twice a day, simply because of where it's stored. The shift, "the toothbrush holder is fine where it is," becomes, "the toothbrush goes anywhere except in the toilet's direct airspace." That is item number 4. This one is architectural, but it shapes everything else on this list. Number 5, one open room with a shower curtain as the only barrier. Water splashes past the curtain. The floor gets wet near the sink. Everything in the room exists in the same humid, splashed environment all the time. Most people see this as just space-saving design. Here's how Japan sees it. This is not about saving space. It's about a home that never lets a wet zone and a dry zone exist separately. Traditional Japanese bathrooms are built with a distinct wet room, fully tiled, drained, and separated by a real barrier, specifically so the rest of the bathroom, and the house beyond it, stays dry. This is Kegare applied to architecture itself. Contain the wet, impure zone completely, rather than letting a thin curtain pretend to do the job. Slow down here, let this land. The cost is chronic dampness, mold spores, musty smells, and towels that never quite dry. All because the wet zone was never properly contained in the first place. The shift, "a curtain is enough of a barrier," becomes, wet and dry need their own real space, not a suggestion of one. Picture a woman named Haruka wiping down a fully tiled wet room floor after her shower, water draining away completely, leaving the rest of the bathroom bone dry within minutes. That is item number 5. Here's a small habit that quietly touches everyone in the house. Number 6, a single hand towel used by the whole family all week. It hangs by the sink. Everyone dries their hands on it multiple times a day, and it doesn't get changed until it visibly looks used. The common assumption is that a hand towel is a shared, communal item by nature. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not about hospitality or family closeness. It's about one damp fabric becoming a transfer point for whatever each person's hands picked up that day. This connects back to seiketsu again, cleanliness as continuous maintenance. A towel used by 5 people between washes isn't drying hands. It's slowly redistributing germs across the whole household, one turn at a time. Stop, let that land. The quiet cost is a bathroom that feels clean on the surface, while functioning as a shared surface for whatever everyone touched that day. The shift, "one towel is fine for the family," becomes, "hand towels get changed often enough that they're actually still doing their job." That is item number 6. This one feels almost too small to matter, until you understand the logic behind it. Number 7. Walking into the bathroom in the same slippers or socks you wear through the rest of the house. You step out of the living room, cross into the bathroom, and step right back out again, all in the same footwear, without a second thought. Most people don't think about this at all. Bathroom floors are just floor. Here's how Japan sees it. This is not about the floor being dirty. It's about not letting the bathroom-specific kegare travel into the rest of the home on the bottom of your feet. Many Japanese homes keep a separate pair of slippers used only inside the bathroom, swapped at the door each time. A small physical boundary that keeps that room's impurity contained to that room. Pause here. The cost is that, without this boundary, everywhere you walk in the house carries a small trace of the bathroom floor with it. The shift, slippers are the same everywhere in the house, becomes the bathroom gets its own pair, and they never leave. That is item number 7. Here's one that's easy to ignore because it happens slowly. Number 8. The shower drain, slowly collecting hair over days without being cleared. You notice the water draining a little slower. You tell yourself you'll deal with it eventually. Eventually stretches into a week. The surface read is that this is a minor maintenance task. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not about slow drainage. It's about visible, growing kegare sitting in plain sight, being tolerated simply because dealing with it is unpleasant. This ties back to seiketsu once more, the idea that cleanliness requires ongoing small effort, not periodic big fixes. A drain cleared daily takes seconds. A drain ignored for a week becomes a genuinely unpleasant chore. Slow down here, let this land. The cost compounds quietly: slower drainage, trapped moisture and odor, all stacking up from a task that would have taken 10 seconds if handled immediately. The shift, I'll clear it when it's really bad, becomes the drain gets cleared the same day, every day. That is item number 8. Here's the one I told you to wait for. This one reframes almost everything else on the list. Number 9. Closing the bathroom door after a shower and leaving the room to just sit in its own steam. You finish showering, the mirror is fogged, the air is thick and damp, and you simply walk out, leaving the room exactly as humid as it was the moment you stepped out of the water. The surface read is that ventilation is optional, a nice-to-have, not a necessity. Here's how Japan sees it. It's not optional at all. It's the final, active step that determines whether every other habit on this list actually matters. Many Japanese bathrooms include a ventilation fan that's run for a set period after every single shower, specifically to clear the humidity that would otherwise settle into the mat, the towels, the grout, and the air itself. This is where kegare closes the loop. The room can be perfectly separated, perfectly washed, and perfectly maintained, and still slowly rot if the moisture itself is never actually cleared out. Stop, let that land. The cost of skipping ventilation is that every other effort on this list, the clean mat, the separate towels, the cleared drain, gets quietly undone by trapped humidity-feeding mold in the exact places you can't easily see. The shift, I'll leave the door open and it'll dry eventually, becomes the fan runs for 20 minutes after every shower, no exceptions. Picture a man named Kenji flipping on the ventilation fan the moment he steps out of the shower, letting it run as he gets dressed, so the room he re-enters that evening is dry, not just clean-looking. That is item number 9. This is the last one. It's also the one people forget exists at all. Number 10. The toilet brush that's been in the same holder for years, never replaced. It sits there quietly, used weekly, rinsed at best, and it never occurs to most people that a cleaning tool itself needs to be retired eventually. The surface read is that a brush is just a tool. It does its job regardless of age. Here's how Japan sees it. This is not about the brush's job. It's about a tool meant to remove kegare, slowly becoming a source of it, sitting damp in its holder between uses, month after month, year after year. This closes the loop on the whole list. Every item here has been about not letting impurity linger past its useful boundary: the water, the mat, the towel, the drain, the air. A cleaning tool is no exception. If it's not maintained and eventually replaced, it stops removing impurity and starts holding on to it. Pause here. The cost is almost darkly funny once you see it. The exact tool meant to keep the toilet clean has quietly become one of the dirtiest objects in the room. The shift: the brush works fine, why replace it, becomes the brush gets replaced on a schedule, the same as everything else that touches impurity directly. That is item number 10. Here's a 60-second self-test. Walk through your bathroom in your mind. Is there a real barrier between your wet zone and dry zone, or just a curtain? When did you last wash your bath mat and hand towel? This week, or longer ago than you'd like to admit? Do you run ventilation after every shower, or only when the mirror looks especially bad? Wherever you hesitated longest, that's the Kegare your bathroom is quietly holding onto first. So here's everything in one breath. Separate the toilet from the bathing space where you can. Wash before you soak instead of soaking to get clean. Wash the bath mat on a real schedule. Keep the toothbrush away from the toilet's airspace. Treat the shower curtain as a suggestion and build a real wet-dry boundary. Rotate the hand towel more often than feels necessary. Keep a dedicated pair of bathroom-only slippers. Clear the drain the same day. Ventilate after every single shower. And retire the toilet brush before it becomes part of the problem it's meant to solve. A truly clean bathroom isn't built by scrubbing harder. It's built by never letting impurity and cleanliness share the same space in the first place. None of this costs money. None of it requires a different bathroom. Which of these 10 is the one your bathroom is most missing? Tell me the number, 1 through 10, in the comments. Someone else reading it will probably recognize their own bath mat in yours. And share this with one person who still hasn't washed their bath mat this month. I'll see you in the next one.